Failure is not a dead end. It is simply a detour, a redirection, a stepping stone on the way to success. Too many people give up too soon thinking that failure is a signal to stop. But I'm here to tell you that failure is not the enemy. Failure is your best teacher. It shows you what doesn't work so that you can find out what does. It is not there to break you. It is there to build you up. Think about it for a moment. What if every time you stumbled or fell, you chose to see it as a chance to learn, to grow, to improve? What if, instead of allowing failure to beat you down, you used it to fuel your desire to win? That's where the magic happens. It's when you decide that every setback is a setup for a comeback. Now, don't get me wrong. Failure doesn't feel good. Nobody enjoys the sting of falling short. But the truth is, success isn't built on easy wins or smooth roads. No, success is built on the sweat, the struggle, the hard-earned lessons of trying, failing, and trying again. The more you fall, the closer you are to flying. Every successful person you admire has failed. Not just once, not just twice, but many, many times. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't that successful people avoid failure. No, they fail just as much as anyone else. The difference is how they react to failure. Do they quit? Do they give up and say, that's it, I'm done? Or do they get back up, brush themselves off and say, that didn't work, but I'm not done yet? The ones who succeed are the ones who keep getting up. They don't let failure define them. They use it as motivation to get better, to work harder, to push further. If you want to turn failure into success, you've got to shift your mindset. You've got to stop looking at failure as the end of the road. Instead, see it for what it really is, an opportunity. Every failure teaches you something. It teaches you what to avoid next time. It teaches you what skills you need to develop. It teaches you about yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, and your capacity to keep going even when things get tough. When Thomas Edison was asked how he felt about failing so many times before inventing the light bulb, he famously said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways it won't work. That's the kind of mindset you need to develop if you want to succeed. Every failure is a lesson. Every time you fall short, you are getting one step closer to figuring it out. You're not losing, you're learning. You see, failure is a part of the process. You can't avoid it, and you shouldn't want to, because without failure, there's no growth. Without growth, there's no success. Success isn't just about reaching the top. It's about the person you become along the way. It's about building resilience, developing perseverance, and becoming someone who refuses to give up, no matter what. Let me ask you something. How many times have you stopped short of your goal because you were afraid to fail? How many dreams have you left behind because you didn't want to face the possibility of falling flat on your face? I bet it's more than you'd like to admit. But here's the truth: fear of failure is one of the biggest things holding people back. It's not the failure itself that's the problem. It's the fear of failure that paralyzes people, that keeps them stuck in the same place, never moving forward. The key to overcoming that fear is to reframe how you think about failure. Instead of seeing it as something to avoid, start seeing it as a necessary part of the journey to success. Start seeing it as proof that you're trying, that you're pushing yourself, that you're willing to take risks. Failure is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of courage. It means you're putting yourself out there. It means you're daring to do something that matters. You see, failure and success are two sides of the same coin. You can't have one without the other. If you want to succeed, you have to be willing to fail. And when you do fail, and you have to be willing to get back up, dust yourself off, and keep going. Because that's how success is built. It's built on persistence. It's built on determination. It's built on a refusal to quit. I know it's not easy. I know it can be discouraging when things don't go the way you planned. But every time you feel like giving up, I want you to remember this: you are stronger than you think. You have more fight in you than you realize. And if you keep going, if you refuse to let failure stop you, you will succeed. It might not happen overnight. It might not happen the way you expected. But if you stay the course, if you keep moving forward, success will come. The road to success is paved with failures. It's not a straight line. It's not a smooth ride. It's full of bumps, detours, and dead ends. But every time you hit a wall, every time you stumble, you are getting closer to where you want to be. Success isn't about never failing. It's about refusing to let failure stop you. Look at any successful person and you'll see someone who has failed many times. You'll see someone who has faced rejection, who has made mistakes, who has missed calling short again and again. But you'll also see someone who refused to give up. You'll see someone who kept going, who kept learning, who kept growing until they finally broke through. That's the secret. Success isn't about avoiding failure. It's about embracing it, learning from it, and using it as fuel to keep going. The most successful people aren't the ones who have never failed. They are the ones who have failed the most, but who have refused to let failure define them. So the next time you face failure, don't get discouraged. Don't see it as the end of the road. See it as a stepping stone. See it as a chance to learn, to grow, to get better. And most importantly, keep going. Don't let failure stop you. Don't let it hold you back. Use it as motivation to push forward, to keep working, to keep striving for your goals. Because here's the thing, failure is only permanent if you quit. If you keep going, if you keep trying, if you keep learning, failure is nothing more than a temporary setback. It's a part of the process. It's a part of the journey. And if you can learn to embrace it, if you can learn to see it for what it is, a necessary part of success, you will be unstoppable. It's easy to look at successful people and think they've got it all figured out. It's easy to think they've had it easy, that they've never struggled, never failed. But that's just not true. Behind every success story is a long list of failures. Behind every victory is a series of defeats. But the difference is they didn't quit. They didn't let failure stop them. They used it as fuel to keep going. And that's what you've got to do. You've got to stop seeing failure as the enemy. You've got to stop letting it hold you back. Instead, see it as an opportunity. See it as a chance to get better. And most importantly, keep going. Keep pushing. Keep striving for your goals, no matter how many times you fall short. Because the only real failure is giving up. As long as you keep going, as long as you keep going, as long as you keep trying, you are on the path to success. Remember, success isn't about avoiding failure. It's about using failure as a tool to help you grow, to help you learn, to help you become the person you need to be to achieve your goals. It's about refusing to quit, no matter how many times you fall short. It's about getting back up again and again until you finally make it. So don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to fall short, because every failure is a stepping stone on the path to success. Every time you get back up, you are one step closer to achieving your goals. So keep going, keep pushing, keep striving, and remember, failure is not the end. It's just the beginning of your success story. You see, turning failure into success isn't just a nice idea, it's a necessity. If you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. If everything you attempt goes perfectly every time, it means you're staying in your comfort zone. And let me tell you, nothing grows in a comfort zone. Success doesn't happen when you're comfortable. It happens when you push yourself beyond what you thought was possible, when you take risks, and when you're willing to get knocked down over and over again, knowing that each time you're building the strength to get back up. One of the most powerful things you can do is shift your perspective. Start seeing failure as feedback, not as defeat. It's a simple change, but it makes all the difference in the world. When you fail, instead of beating yourself up, instead of thinking, I'm not good enough or I can't do this, start asking yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to get better? And you know what happens when you make that shift? Failure stops being something you fear. It stops being something that holds you back. Instead, it becomes part of your process, part of your journey to success. It becomes a tool that you can use to sharpen your skills, to strengthen your resolve, to improve yourself. I want you to think back to a time when you failed. Maybe it was something small, maybe it was something big. Whatever it was, I want you to look at it with fresh eyes. What did that failure teach you? How did it shape you? What did you learn from it that you might not have learned if everything had gone perfectly? You see, failure teaches us things that success never could. Success might feel good, but it doesn't challenge us in the same way that failure does. Success doesn't force us to dig deep, to question ourselves, to push harder. Failure, on the other hand, does all of that. It tests our limits. It makes us uncomfortable. It forces us to confront our weaknesses and figure out how to overcome them. And that's where growth happens. That's where real success is born. So the next time you fail, I want you to do something. Instead of feeling sorry for yourself, instead of getting discouraged, I want you to take a step back and ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Because every failure has a lesson, and the faster you learn that lesson, the faster you'll move on to the next step towards success. Now let's talk about something else that's crucial if you want to turn failures into success: perseverance. You can learn all the lessons in the world from failure, but if you don't have the perseverance to keep going, it won't matter. You've got to be willing to stick it out, to keep pushing forward, even when things get tough. Perseverance is the glue that holds everything together. It's the thing that keeps you moving when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you're not sure if you can go on. It's what separates the people who give up from the people who succeed. Because the truth is, most people quit right before they're about to break through. They get discouraged, they get tired, they start to doubt themselves. And instead of pushing just a little bit harder, they throw in the towel. But not you. You're not going to quit. You're not going to let failure stop you. Because you understand that every time you fail, you're getting stronger. You're getting closer. And the only way to lose is to give up. As long as you keep going, as long as you keep trying, you're still in the game. You still have a game. You still have a chance to succeed. Think of it this way, failure is like a wall in front of you. Every time you hit that wall, you have a choice. You can walk away or you can keep chipping away at it. Every time you try, every time you push, you're taking a little piece of that wall down. And eventually, if you keep going, that wall will come down. It might not happen as fast as you want it to. It might take longer than you expected. But if you keep at it, if you refuse to quit, that wall will fall. And on the other side of that wall is your success. So don't stop. Don't quit when things get tough. Don't let failure convince you that you're not good enough, because the truth is, failure is just part of the process. It's part of the journey. And if you can learn to see it that way, if you can learn to use it as a tool, as a stepping stone, nothing can stop you. Success isn't reserved for the smartest people or the most talented people or the people who have it all figured out. No, success belongs to the people who are willing to keep going, who are willing to fail, and then fail again, and then get up and try one more time. Success belongs to the people who refuse to give up. You might not succeed the first time you try. You might not even succeed the 10th time. But if you keep going, if you keep learning, if you keep improving, eventually you will break through. Eventually all those failures will add up and you will find success. Now here's something else to keep in mind. Failure isn't just about missing the mark. Sometimes failure comes in the form of rejection. You might be told no more times than you can count. You might hear people say you're not good enough or this isn't going to work. But rejection is just another kind of failure. And just like every other failure, it's something you can learn from. It's something you can use to grow, to get better, to refine your approach. The key is not to take rejection personally. When someone says no, it doesn't mean you're not good enough. It just means that this particular opportunity isn't the right fit at this particular moment. But that doesn't mean there won't be other opportunities. It doesn't mean there won't be a yes waiting for you around the corner. So don't let rejection stop you. Don't let it make you feel like a failure. Instead, use it as motivation to keep going, to keep improving, to keep searching for the opportunity that is right for you. Because if you stay persistent, if you keep moving forward, that opportunity will come. And when it does, all those failures, all those rejections, all those setbacks, they will have been worth it. They will have made you stronger, wiser, and more prepared for success. Because the truth is, success isn't just about reaching your goals. It's about becoming the kind of person who can achieve those goals. It's about developing the resilience, the determination, and the perseverance that will carry you through the tough times and into the victory. So what are you going to do the next time you fail? Are you going to let it stop you, or are you going to pick yourself up, learn from it, and keep going? The choice is yours. But I can tell you this, the people who succeed are the ones who choose to keep going. They are the ones who refuse to give up, no matter how many times they fall short. You have that same power. You have the ability to turn every failure into a stepping stone on the path to success. You have the ability to learn from every mistake, to grow from every setback, and to keep pushing forward, no matter how tough it gets. And when you do that, when you make the decision that failure will not define you, that it will not stop you, you become unstoppable. Because success isn't just about what you achieve. It's about who you become along the way. And when you become the kind of person who can rise above failure, who can persevere through the tough times, success becomes inevitable. So go out there and fail. Fail often. Fail hard. And each time you do, get back up and keep going. Because every failure is bringing you one step closer to the success you deserve. Every failure is building the strength, the wisdom, and the resilience you need to achieve your goals. Remember, failure is not the end. It's the beginning of something greater. It's the beginning of your success story. And the only way to fail is to give up. As long as you keep going, as long as you keep learning, as long as you keep pushing forward, success is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You've got what it takes. You have everything you need inside of you to turn your failures into successes. All you need to do is keep going, keep learning, and keep believing in yourself. Because success is not just for the lucky ones. It's for the ones who refuse to quit. And that, my friend, can be you. You are capable of far more than you realize. Too often we limit ourselves, not because of what we lack, but because of the stories we tell ourselves about failure and success. We convince ourselves that failure is a reflection of our worth, that it's proof we're not good enough, not smart enough, not talented enough. But that's not true. Failure isn't a sign that you're lacking, it's a sign that you're trying. It's proof that you're in the game, that you're putting yourself out there. And you know what? That takes courage. It takes courage to try and risk falling short. It takes courage to pursue your dreams, knowing full well that you could fail along the way. But here's the thing, every failure brings you closer to success. Every time you try and fall short, you're getting stronger, you're getting smarter, and you're getting better equipped to handle what comes next. Now you might be thinking, but what if I keep failing? What if I never succeed? And I get it, that's a real fear. But let me tell you something, the only way you'll never succeed is if you stop trying. As long as you keep going, as long as you keep pushing forward, success is always within your reach. It might take time, it might take more effort than you expected, but it's there, waiting for you if you're willing to keep moving toward it. Let me share something with you. Success doesn't always look the way we think it will. Sometimes the road to success takes us places we didn't expect. Sometimes we have to fail over and over again before we even understand what success looks like for us. But that's okay, because every step you take, every failure you encounter is part of the process. It's shaping you, molding you, preparing you for the moment when everything comes together. And that's the beauty of failure. It's not just about the end result, it's about who you become along the way. It's about the strength you develop, the resilience you build, the lessons you learn. Those things are worth more than any trophy or any accolade. Those things are what makes success meaningful. You see, success isn't just about achieving a goal. It's about the person you become in pursuit of that goal. It's about developing the mindset that says, I can do hard things, I can face challenges, I can handle setbacks, and I can keep going no matter what. That's what failure teaches you. It teaches you that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. It teaches you that you can handle disappointment, that you can rise above obstacles, and that you can keep moving forward, even when the road gets tough. I think about it, if everything came easy, if success was handed to you on a silver platter, what would you learn? Where would the growth come from? The value of success comes from the struggle. It comes from the effort, the persistence, the determination to keep going when things don't go as planned. The most successful people in the world didn't get there because they never failed. They got there because they failed, and then they got back up. They got there because they learned from every mistake, every setback, and they used those lessons to become better, stronger, more capable. And that's exactly what you can do. Here's something important to remember: failure is not permanent. It's not a label that defines you for the rest of your life. It's a moment, a single event, not a conclusion. You have the power to decide what comes next. You can choose to let failure stop you, or you can choose to use it as fuel to keep going. You have control over how you respond to failure. You can choose to see it as a defeat, or you can choose to see it as an opportunity. You can choose to give up, or you can choose to get back up and try again. That choice is yours, and it's the most important choice you'll ever make when it comes to your success. So how do you turn failures into success? You keep going. You learn from every mistake, and you use those lessons to improve. You refuse to give up no matter how many times you fall short. And most importantly, you believe in yourself. You believe that you have what it takes to succeed no matter how many times you fail along the way. Let me ask you, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? What risks would you take? What dreams would you pursue? Now let me flip that question. What would you do if you knew that failure was just part of the process? That it wasn't something to be afraid of, but something to embrace? Because that's the truth. Failure is not something to fear. It's something to welcome, something to learn from, something to use as a stepping stone to your success. If you want to turn failures into success, you've got to change the way you think about failure. You've got to stop seeing it as a roadblock and start seeing it as a building block. You've got to stop letting it hold you back and start letting it push you forward. You see, failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a part of success. It's not something that stands in your way. It's something that paves the way. Every time you fail, you're getting closer to success. Every time you fall short, you're learning something that will help you succeed next time. So don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to take risks, to step out of your comfort zone, to try something new. Because every time you do, you're opening yourself up to the possibility of success. You're giving yourself the chance to learn, to grow, to become the person you need to be to achieve your goals. And when you do fail, and you will, because failure is inevitable, I want you to remember this: you are not defined by your failures. You are defined by how you respond to them. You are defined by your willingness to get back up, to keep going, to keep striving for your goals, no matter how many times you fall short. Because that's what success is all about. It's not about never failing. It's about never giving up. It's about having the courage to keep going, even when things don't go as planned. It's about believing in yourself, even when the world tells you that you're not good enough. It's about knowing that failure is just part of the process, and that every time you fail, you're one step closer to success. So here's my challenge to you: the next time you fail, don't see it as the end. See it as a new beginning. See it as a chance to learn, to grow, to improve. And most importantly, see it as a stepping stone on the path to success. You have what it takes. You have the strength, the resilience, and the determination to turn every failure into success. All you need to do is keep going, keep pushing forward, keep learning, and keep believing in yourself. Because success isn't about avoiding failure, it's about embracing it, learning from it, and using it to fuel your journey toward your goals. Failure is not the opposite of success, it's the path to success. And as long as you keep moving forward, as long as you keep learning from every failure, success is not just possible, it's inevitable. So go out there and fail again and again and again. And with every failure, you'll be one step closer to success, because failure is not the end of your story, it's just the beginning.